Talk to him.
Classic codes, I ain't taking it slow. Forgive me, Lord, I woke up in that mode. Whether the winters were left in the cold. Over to my favorite YouTuber and my favorite content creator. We heading over to RivahTv, and we gonna start off with Rivah. We're gonna collab with Rivah. You know I love to join her conversations, and we're gonna see exactly what's going on and what her take is on the a piece of the conversation that she had with Cam Newton. K. Michelle and Cam Newton actually had a sit down, and Rivah had some takes on exactly how that went. I haven't watched it, so we're gonna go full authentic with our reaction on RivahTv and join her commentary. We'll see if we agree or disagree, but it always goes well when we team up, man. For sure, for sure. Getting this ready for y'all, man. Let's get active. All right. Let's go, chat.
It's really not cool. Black men are attacking black women. And it's not cool. They're not creating homes. They're creating babies everywhere. It's not cool.
This is like the pot calling the kettle black, because you're telling Cam Newton that he needs to get married and be an example for the black community, when you as a black woman don't even want to marry a black man because you want to date outside your race. What are you talking about?
Have you ever dated outside your race?
Yes, that's all I would like to do.
No?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. It's about to be action. Let's go. I like it already. Let's go, Rivah.
What's up, guys? It's your girl Rivah, and I'm back again with another video. So I actually pulled in like a section out of the Cam Newton and K. Michelle interview, and I wanted to highlight a lot of this conversation, mainly because I don't know about anybody else, but me personally, I saw a lot of contradictions happening within the conversation that I wanted to mention. And so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and press play, pause, play, give you guys my thoughts, my feelings, my opinions on this entire situation. And again, of course, if you do not know who K. Michelle is, she is an R&B singer, a country singer, as well as a reality TV personality. She was on the beginning seasons of Love and Hip Hop Atlanta. And so I'm not sure exactly what she was there to promote at this time, or if she was just there to have a conversation, but I'm going to go ahead and press play and we'll get into the whole conversation.
Women are so mad and so bothered that when I told them that I was doing your show, they was like, light it up. Tell him the truth.
So this, she's basically saying that basically the sisterhood sent her there with a mission. And the mission was to, humble him, check him, put him in his place, tell him his wrongdoings. And that is coming off of the tail of what happened when Dr. Cheyenne Bryant was there, and the two of them had a conversation in regards to his family structure, his family unit, and women felt so happy that she, checked him.
You're not taking your time.
I am, though.
You're being very action-based. You're not taking your time. You're being very action-based.
I'm taking my time.
You're being very action-based. You have 8 kids with 3 different women.
Yes.
You are creating, procreating, and multiplying. That is not taking your time. You're being very selectively active.
So now, based off of that one particular situation, every woman that goes on there and is a black woman, especially, they want those women to go up there and do the same exact thing that Dr. Cheyenne Bryant did. And if, the women do not do that, they are going to face, some kind of backlash from the sisterhood, from, black women on social media, for not stepping up to the plate and handling business like they instructed them to do.
Now, here's the thing. I don't think that Rivah is wrong in what she's saying. She would know better than I would. She is a sister. You know what I mean? But my question would be, like, what's the point? Like, okay, if women are sicking these women on Cam Newton and men like Cam Newton, if they're being sent there with a mission for the sisterhood, make sure you get him together. What is there to gain? What is the point? There's one. Okay, so Cam Newton is one man, right? And he has a plethora of baby mothers. I don't know exactly how many. I think it's north of 4 or 5, right? So there's one man who made the same decision over and over with different women, but there's different women registering to be a part of his program seemingly at will. So who should be getting together? Who should be getting got together? You know what I mean? Let's go.
Who like your significant other? They've liked her before y'all have become a couple.
For sure.
And some things that she has said, you know, might have offended women in other ways, like, you know, and now they're like, oh, so now you're in this situation that you made fun about.
So Cam Newton is in a relationship with comedian Jazzy. I think her name is Jasmine Brown. And, you know, before the two of them got into any kind of relationship, she was on social media basically calling women that, you know, acted a certain way pick-me's. She talked about like all kinds of different, you know, attributes of women and how they would be like beneath men, and that could never be her.
So this is the woman who became his third baby mother. And this is the way she was talking about quote unquote
Okay, let me correct that. So she just said here that Jazzy is his third baby mother. So maybe he's only got 3 baby mothers in total. So it's not north of 5. So if that's the case, I misspoke. My apologies, but I did say I didn't know for sure. And shout out to Cam and Jazzy. I'm rooting for them. Fuck what everybody talking about.
Me's before she got with Cam Newton.
These are women who try to do everything right just so a man can choose me. Yeah, cut that out. Because I'm going to keep it real with you. Men already know what they want in a woman and who they want. But if you're so nurturing and you're an asset and it's not you, they'll never tell you to stop doing what you're doing because it's beneficial.
So basically, you know, now that she is in this relationship with Cam Newton and, you know, a lot of their personal business is out there, a lot of the conversation is surrounding her, you know, in a certain light because of the things that he tells on the podcast. You know, now what she's saying is that a lot of women do not have any kind of compassion, empathy, or sympathy for her because they're like, how come all of a sudden you now have this epiphany and you get it? But when other women were being nurturing and doing the best that they could, you called them derogatory names.
And now all of a sudden you done switched up.
Yeah, you done switched up, but I'm telling you, something called being drunk. Oh, hallelujah. It will make you see things differently, do things differently, and just love in general.
So I thought this was interesting that she talked about being like, you know, demonetized. And because she's basically saying like that's why, you know, obviously Jazzy changed her tune because she was in a certain type of relationship or whatever the case is. And so now she's singing a whole different tune. And I think that just speaks volumes for a lot of different things. I say this all the time, especially here when I have conversations with you guys, that, you know, so often women talk about, oh, I would never make no man a sandwich. I would never. And some of the women who are the loudest at saying derogatory things about men, when they get into that right situation with a man, all of a sudden the blindfold comes off of their eyes and they are doing the most. Okay, the same way that they call other women pick me, they become the number one, pick me on the front line, hoping that this man will choose them.
In my position, when you're the person everybody pulls from, your charging station for me has always been women.
But that's why there's this thing and there's this balance. Like, you know, I'm the one in my family that takes care of everybody, all the family. When you come home, you want to be, like you said, your charging station.
Here's something that I wanted to also mention for everyone in particular, but especially the women, is that sometimes you can be in a situation with a man and you are just that. You are a charging station. Now, charging station can be so many different ways. Some men get renewed by, having intimacy with a woman, unloading that pressure, unloading that stress, and walking away. You know, sometimes it's from having that compassion from their partner, their wife, their girlfriend, whatever, in that relationship. Like, there's so many different avenues that men release stress or find that comfort or charge within their relationship, and it's important to know the difference.
Yeah, Riva never ceased to amaze me with her level of understanding. That response was very mature, very multifaceted, very just rooted in understanding. Because there is nuance to it, right? Being a charging station. See, there's surface level conversation, and then there's, conversation that has depth. A lot of people, the charging station comment would have come up. They would have treated it like it's one thing in particular and then ran with instead of stopping to say that charging station could be a lot of different things. It could be, for this man, it may be, like she said, receiving compassion, you know, and for this person, it may be, you know, receiving, you know, actual physical intimacy, and the understanding that, you know, it's not a one size fits all. It's very important to acknowledge that, and like she said, know the difference. So shout out to Riva for that.
Right? It's important to know that sometimes your body could be used in a way and I don't believe it's the same, because, you know, as a woman, you want a man to pour into you, you know, speak life into you and admire you and love on you, hug you up, kiss you up. And sometimes for men, it's not that same thing. Okay, sometimes it is just going out there frivolously and finding women to, you know, take your mind, the pressure off of things, and having intimate connections, but not emotional connections. So there's a vast difference.
I think it's happening with women right now. Can we be honest with what women are dealing with? Yeah. Women are making more money than men.
That's challenging.
Yes,
that
women,
challenges the
if you're going to bring me hell and I can pay my own bills, it's not worth it.
Now, this part of the conversation is when things started to pick up, right? And she talks about what women are going through. And the reason why I definitely wanted to emphasize that is because what are women, if women are making more money now, they have the ability to do more things. They have more freedom than they've ever had. Why would they be going through anything? Right? You should be at your leisure. You should be at a peaceful place because you're choosing to work. That's what you want to do. You're getting your just due from whatever work it is that you're doing. And so now you're at this comfortable space. You're not, you know, operating out of lack. You're not operating out of misery or stress because you can't, you know, afford to do certain things. But now with more freedom and more ability to choose, I found that it seems that more women have become more miserable. In the relationship sector. And
go ahead.
You know, it's so interesting that she said, oh, you know, these men are making less money. And so it's like, you're trying to tell me what to do and check me, but you're not paying any bills. So is it that it's the stress of, is it the problem that he's telling you something to do, or is it that he's not having more money than you, so you feel that he doesn't have the authority to tell you what to do?
That challenges the
if you're going to bring me hell and I can pay my own bills, it's not worth it.
Now, this is something that I definitely don't agree with, right? Because it's saying that, you know, it's just the same narrative of, oh, I'd rather be crying in the back of a Rolls Royce than, you know, be crying with this man. Why are you crying?
Yeah.
Like, in general, why are you crying?
Yeah.
This narrative leads to the fact that, you know, you're prioritizing finances, somebody who's able to pay your bills, somebody who's able to provide for you financially, over somebody who's you know, able to effectively communicate, somebody who's emotionally intelligent.
Yeah.
Like, you know, that whole narrative of I'd rather be crying in the back of a Rolls Royce. You'd rather be in a miserable situation as long as somebody is providing for you and paying your bills than being in a situation where the two of you are trying to effectively build something together and grow in that situation and in that dynamic.
Right.
Opposed to you being in that situation where you are, you know, trying to pick up the pieces or trying to fix things. I've never agreed with the idea that finances comes before, you know, a man's principles, a man's standards, a man's structures, his belief system, who you are, and a man's integrity.
That's a wife talking, y'all. That's a wife talking. That's a wife talking. That is a wife. I don't know if she married, but that is a wife talking. Understand something, that oftentimes when we sit on these panels and we do these reaction videos, or we do these podcasts, or we sit on, like I said, we sit on these panels and we have these discussions about relationships and people's preferences and what's going on in the climate, it turns into a business conversation. It turns into a conversation about acquisition, amenities, you know, benefits, stimulus. It's a business conversation. And a lot of times, you know, no puffy, but a lot of women out here are trying to put a square peg into a round hole. And when I say that, I simply mean that they're trying to take a man who comes with the amenities that they want their man to come with and they want to put a great human being inside of that man, when that man may not desire to be the type of great human being that you would like to change him into, or mold him into, or compromise him into. So why not be, like Riva is saying, be with a person that is a great human being and build something? Because here's the thing about money. I don't know if y'all know this, for all the people who always talk about how much somebody needs to have when you meet them for them to qualify to even see if you guys are going to be anything. The thing about money is, and I think all adults know this, I'm going to say something very matter of fact. You can always lose it, and you can always get some more of it. That's the thing about money. So like, you can meet a guy who has a great career and he could lose his job. Does he lose you? You could meet a guy who is a great human being and doesn't have all the bread in the world, and he can come up while he with you. Understand the thing about money is you can always lose it, and you can always get you some more of it. And the economy can outgrow your bag too. You could be making the type of money that's good money today, and in 3 years, that's not good money no more. And so if you don't have anything in place to increase, you get left in the dust just by inflation. So these are conversations that we have to add nuance to, because keeping it surface level, it benefits no one. Let them cook.
I don't agree.
I see my parents who've been together forever. I get to witness a traditional, old school type of love. But nowadays, what we're witnessing city girls, we're witnessing this and that. And it's like the genders are doing this.
Clash.
Something I noticed very off-rip is that she talked about what women are going through. Then she said that she's witnessed, her parents being together. Now she talks about, the city girls and all these things. And then she's saying that the genders are clashing. But where she took this conversation next was very interesting to me.
Being in Nashville all the time, being in Atlanta all this time, and then going to Nashville, where it's predominantly white. One, they go home at 5 and 6 o'clock when they're producing, because they go home to their families. Being a country singer, if you are a singer in country music, you're a man. If you are not married, it is not respected.
Let me give you my point of view on this. First of all, country music is basically very closely based off of Christian values, Christian standards, Christianity as a whole. Like, it's very like, you can't wear certain things to country music awards. You can't act a certain way. You can't say everything that it is that you want to say. Like, they will easily banish you outside the circle, right? And so being that they have a strong foundation in that way, and they have all similar beliefs, of course you are going to get, family at the center, because they are going off of biblical values. When you are comparing that to a hip hop world where it's a it's not a one size fits all, it's you have these belief system, this belief system, that belief system. It's definitely not centered around love, family, whatever, but there's so many other genres that you can also speak on. But using the worst of a certain genre to compare to a wholesome culture, it's almost like comparing I could see if she compared country music and like gospel music, or country music and like different kind, but you're comparing a genre that is made up of the same city girls that you were just talking about degrading themselves.
Family is respected in country music in that space. But in our space, we are singing about side chicks. We are glorifying a lot of women. That's not what happens in Nashville. You can't call a woman in Nashville because they'll never even listen to your music, and your professional career will suffer.
Yeah, but also you're not going to hear those women calling themselves that. You're not going to hear those women calling themselves that in terms of endearment.
Man, forget what they talking about. Every single rapper that say all that shit she talking about, they all hit Nashville and they tour. They all stop through Nashville on their tour, and they do numbers just fine. So I ain't trying to hear that shit. It's America. Nashville is in America.
So as much as you're putting the onus on the man, women are also aiding to that within our community and within our culture. They think it's cool to call each other, oh, what up, B? What up, H? What up? Like, they look at that as terms of endearment for themselves. So to then, try to say that men can't say it when women are calling themselves that, oh, yeah, I'm the B, I'm the baddest B. Like, what are you talking about, really? It's completely different worlds with completely different backgrounds, completely different struggles, completely different history.
At what point in the Black community do our men create real homes.
Now, this is the part where she's starting to put on her, Cheyenne Bryan cape. She's starting to now do what she was instructed to do when she got there, which is, like I said, check him and call out black men for the negative things that they're doing for the community, while in the same tone, simultaneously praising the fact that white men don't do these things. So let's just press play, and you guys are going to see where I'm coming from in terms of contradiction.
And even talking, just our first time talking, and you said you didn't even mean for that to happen. Life happens. I'm not here to judge life. I'm looking at a successful black man that has the ability to literally turn the narrative on black family.
I got to say something and be honest. And I just feel that you cannot force people into a narrative that they don't want to be in. The worst thing you can do is force a man who does not want to be married to marry somebody. Because every time they have a hiccup, a problem, an issue, that resentment is going to build.
Come on.
Okay. It is not Cam Newton's job to be the representative of families, structure, and marriage for the black community.
Come on.
There are so many men who are showing it. But the problem is that the men who are showcasing their wives, their relationships, people, it goes in one ear and out the other.
Come on.
But why try to force a narrative onto somebody who clearly is not at the space that he wants that? And we have to stop taking all responsibility off of him and also realize that there are women who are sitting around and participating in whatever the situation is that he has also been a part of creating.
Come on.
My whole family, they're married. I'm not the girl who didn't see what a man creating a black family is supposed to be. So I'm asking right now, black men to really step up for black women and create families.
Oh, come on. No, River, hold on. Don't do the waterworks. Don't do the waterworks. You just got done less than 5 minutes ago in this interview talking about, never mind. She in the same interview talking about how she prefers not to date black men. So how is her talking about black men stepping up for black women bringing her to tears when she says she don't even date black men? It's confusing. You want us or you don't want us is what I'm trying to figure out. Let's go.
Just said that black women were making the most money. Black women are in these spaces. Black women are now becoming the city girls. Black women don't want to be told nothing because they can pay their own bills. Black women do not want to comply. And now she is telling this man, or telling all black men, that they need to step in the gap for black women and basically bow down to them and give them what they so much deserve, even though these same black women are not willing to do the work. These same city girls, these same girls that's making so much money, these same girls who don't want to be submissive, these same girls who are unwilling to comply. She's crying and begging them to step up to the plate. I feel like this would have been such a stronger conversation. Maybe not as viral, but stronger conversation if she said to black women, hey, this your counterpart. You got, not because you're making so much money means that you're the ruler of the house and you got to dictate what goes and what doesn't go. No, we still have a certain hierarchy in a home. We still have certain values and morals, because even if it's Faith Hill and she's making way more money than Tim McGraw, I don't think that's a possibility, but let's say for instance she's not going to be walking around telling him what he got to do, what he can't do, and he got to do this and he better do that. She's not going to do that.
Yeah. So the problem is the American woman believes that a man's masculinity is tied to his pockets, and so if she don't see your pockets as a good number or whatever the case may be, a lot of times, not all the time, that woman won't feel that she can submit to you because she got more money than you, which, I don't think a man's income has anything to do with his manhood. I just think it has something to do with where he is in his journey at the time. But let's let River continue to cook.
We need to have those same kind of conversations within our own community.
It's really not cool. Black men are attacking black women. And it's not cool. They're not creating homes. They're creating babies everywhere. It's not cool.
Again, how can How is it an attack when these women are willing participants? Okay, again, way more impactful conversation with the woman who is in charge. Okay, she is, subletting her womb to these men's children. Way more impactful conversation when you say women control your womb. If you don't see any kind of certain commitment, if you don't see any kind of structure, whatever, you need to control your womb. Do not give this man a child and make yourself vulnerable in a way that he can just pick up, move, choose, refuse if he wants to. Make sure there is some kind of something in place that you know that he is here for the long haul with you.
Marry before you carry. Marry before you carry.
I'm not saying that both parties are not to blame, right? Obviously, he know what he doing and she know what she doing. They're grown people, but who is it in control of who gets to make it to Earthside and is born in the world? It is the woman. If you're not on birth control, if you're not using any kind of ramification to stop whatever situation, you are also a part of the problem. You are not a victim.
And I'm asking you, other successful Black men, to be, you have to set an example as leads. The cute social media back and forth on Black women. Black women are strong. Black women are where you come from, this and that.
This conversation.
Hold on, River. Let me chime in too. Sisters be wanting to call men kings, and they want to call us king and hey, king this and king. So when a guy builds himself up to king status, let's say you're Cam Newton, let's say you're 6'4", 6'5", 250 pounds, muscular dude, wealthy, not rich, wealthy. You have status, clout, business acumen, successful businesses. You're in the public eye. You're this, you're that, right? You're this mastodon of a man, so to speak, right? Let's say that, right? And then the women will flock. Well, back in the ancient time when men were actually kings, the king would have multiple women. And it seems as though the kings of today's time are still enjoying that luxury. They're just having to do it with far more resistance from the women. See, there was an understanding back then, but today, due to the colonization, modernization, and a whole bunch of other nizations I could list, our women now no longer by and large buy into that concept when it used to be a bit more common to understand. Essentially, the women are describing, when they say they want a guy that's tall, dark, handsome, masculine presenting, physically presenting, dominant personality, a leader, this they're describing the kings of the world, right? The alphas of the packs, right? This is what women are describing. And what's happening is, you have a lot of women desiring the kings, but they don't want to get in the line of a queen. And in the alignment of a queen, historically speaking, there would be multiple women involved with the king. It's just the way it is. And so if you want, if consistent and prolonged monogamy is something that you need to be guaranteed to you, as a woman, you should realistically adjust your desire of wanting a king of a man. Maybe go down to someone who's a court jester, somebody who, you know what I mean, a civilian. Because kings are going to have multiple women. Some way, somehow, is going to happen. And listen, in today's time, the hoo-ha has been made so readily available to us men. You don't even got to be a king to have multiple women. There's a lot of dudes out here that are bums and still running through these streets because getting some coochie been made way too easy. So, the ownership at some point got to be on the person that's granting the access is all I'm saying. Let's go.
Always goes to, your mama Black. That's where you come from. And so you got to treat all women in a certain way. But how come, again, we don't have the same conversation with Black women? A Black man is where you come from. That's what you should respect. That's what you should, you know, try to. No, the conversation is always tilted. Always, as if all women are victims, no women are the problem. How many examples have we seen of men trying to portray successful marriages and turn around and the woman takes them for everything, lie? You know, if we want to use athletes, for example, Deion Sanders and Pilar Sanders was a grand example of that. Grand example. You know, and K. Michelle said that she saw her parents married forever, her grandparents, everybody, you know, she's seen strong family units, but you've also seen the traits of these women. And so I would love for women who have seen these things to you know, bring to the conversation the traits of those women. Because if you can have one woman who dates a certain type of man and she gets nothing from him, crumbs, you know, terrible situation. He don't want to be with her. He don't want to fool with her. She gets played like like a game. Mm-hmm. And then you have another woman who deals with that same kind of man, gets different results. Because a man is feeding off of what you're bringing to the situation.
Come on.
If you seem like you just gonna play around, you down for anything, you the cool girl and everything goes, that's what you're gonna get.
Come on.
If you step to the situation as a wife, you're going to get treated like one. And if he doesn't treat you like one, that's a him problem. You move on, you keep acting like that, somebody's gonna marry you.
There isn't any sympathy for you and just life happens.
Hold on, because I can end this reaction video right there. Say that again. Say that last part again.
Because a man is feeding off of what you're bringing to the situation. If you seem like you just gonna play around, you down for anything, you the cool girl and everything goes, that's what you're gonna get. If you step to the situation as a wife, you're going to get treated like one. And if he doesn't treat you like one, that's a him problem. You move on, you keep acting like that, somebody's gonna marry you.
Yep, that's it. Nah, I don't need to hear no more. Shout out to RivahTv. Make sure everybody go tap in with Riva. Always good collabing on her videos, adding my insight in with her takes and going over the different topics. She does a great job of choosing topics as well. So shout out to RivahTv. It's one of the few people whose reactions I like to react to and join the conversation. So make sure y'all tap in with her for sure. That was a very interesting one though, man, with the K. Michelle rhetoric. There was a lot of things that seem to condescend each other, and oftentimes that is the makeup of the conversation of women who are looking for men that don't exist. You know what I mean? You'll listen to them say the things they do like and don't like, and they're describing these things that somehow overlap in weird ways, and you just look at them and you're just like, you know, the man that you're looking for, like what you're describing, we don't even come like that. That make and model isn't available, you know, in the market. It hasn't been created. We don't come like that. There's going to be pros and cons to everything. You got to choose the pros and cons that are inside the parameters of what you can deal with, what you can live with, and what you can sustain some peace with. But the pros and cons will always exist. It's this thing called duality that God built into nature. Just like for something to live, something must die. Yeah. So, but that's a deeper conversation. But yeah, shout out to RivahTv for the reaction video. If you like what you just saw, support the channel. Make sure you subscribe, like, and jump in the comments. Talk to me so we could crack these codes. If you want to support the channel monetarily, go to my website and cop some merch, www.theclassiccodes.com. Or you can shoot me a Cash App. Either way, stick to the codes.
Classic codes, I ain't taking it slow. Forgive me, Lord, I woke up in that mode. Weathered the winters when left in the cold. Hardened my heart and now hardened the